Thank you very much, Pastry. Great cast in the day. I am here with Biofrost, and I want to congratulate you, first of all, on a hard-fought win over Phoenix 1. Any kind of comments, first off, just about that match?
It was like a pretty long series. We always end up losing the first game, and then we come back. It's been happening like every game pretty much, so it's pretty interesting.
Are you bought into the newly created TSM P1 rivalry? They ruined your perfect season last time around. Is this a team that meant anything extra to you to beat, or was it just because they're in second, it was a valuable game?
I mean, P1 has looked pretty strong in like the start of the season because they had a couple of roster changes and they're looking really strong. So we thought they were like pretty good team, and then we came in today prepared, and we really wanted to beat them. We had the trash talk video too. That was fun. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And speaking of things that are going to be a lot of fun, right now you guys in second place, looking like one of the teams to make the finals. Tell me how excited you are if you get to go back to your hometown, I believe it is, to represent TSM back in Vancouver.
Yeah, going back to Vancouver for finals would be pretty cool because I have a lot of friends there, and if they came to watch, it'd be pretty nice. And then some of the the stadiums I do know, and then I think we're going to the Pacific Coliseum, and then that's a place that I've been to when I was younger, so it'd be cool to play in there instead of being as a spectator.
It'll be cool definitely to be on both sides of that one. So after the 5-1 start, talk to me about who your next toughest opponent is. Of course, C9 2-0'd you. Are you ready to blast them when it comes time to beat them again? What's it gonna take for TSM to be #1 yet again?
Well, we've been working on our issues. I think we've been improving with every week. Our opponents are pretty strong as well. Everyone's improving, but we're just trying to improve at a faster rate so that we can catch up. And I think C9 is definitely looking like the strongest competition right now. We haven't played FlyQuest yet, and they seem pretty good too. So it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of weeks pan out.
So 2-0 on both of them, though?
Hopefully. I mean, actually, it would probably be 2-1 since we always end up losing the first game. But yeah.
All right, 2-1 the whole way through. 3-1 in the finals. Congratulations on the win. See you next week. Throw it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, Freak. TSM gets their victory, their match victory here in 2-1 fashion over Phoenix 1, moving to 5-1 and that second place slot. We'll see if FlyQuest can match up with them a little bit later today. Biofrost obviously had a big hand in the victory, but I want to point towards Svenskeren playing the Kazakhs against the Ivern, having been the first player to introduce Ivern to the NA LCS. Really smart level 1 plays out of him.
Got to know both sides of that matchup. And I want to get right into the level 1 because it was very clever and very pivotal with what they did. Notice how they scouted out with an early ward right here. And so often, Ivern can start wherever he wants. So you go red, and then you basically guess which blue buff you're going to, whether it's the enemy or the ally. So Svenskeren actually says, why even make this a guessing game of me being able to get a buff stolen from me? Why don't I just go immediately for a buff? And it's even smarter when he paths around the downs, and he goes straight essentially for his own blue buff and doesn't take any other camp. So he's cutting off Inori, and they've already warded early, and then being able to blast cone and get into the brush, waiting for Inori to hop over with his Q so he can't even use it to peel. Then it's just a simple flash follow. So this is preying on Inori's aggressive tendencies, because a lot of times Iverns, if you want to play safe, you keep in your own jungle. You want to go aggressive, you do that steal. That's pretty much been since the launch of Ivern, but Svenskeren just guessed what Inori was going to do, had the ward to confirm, and got the kill.
Right, and the big thing was that it wasn't just, okay, he got a kill on the Ivern and tricky play, that's smart of him. It was that he snowballed the early game super hard and just ran around the map, killing everyone. He helped win this top side matchup that's usually a counter pick, Rumble into Poppy. He helped win that easily for Haunter. A number of huge plays from him.
Right, 1-0 turning into 3-0 very quickly in the game. As you mentioned, he will be picking up player of the game for this, for the good start for the team. Obviously, the victory was a long time coming there, and it was off the back end, as Irene mentioned, some great hooks from Biofrost in the late game on that Thresh. I mean, Jat, you were kind of joking around while we were watching the game. Did people forget that Biofrost is actually a solid Thresh player, and this is a viable pick for him, especially when you consider that Mal, Zyra were banned out. There was a fair number of supports taken out of the pick ban.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier in this year, man, Biofrost really defaulting to Thresh a lot. Oh wait, before he even joined TSM, they thought he was just a Thresh one trick, and they were surprised he could play other champions. So his most practiced champion, like career-wise, just now getting a lot of prestige in pro play.
I mean, as great as this to be like, oh yeah, Biofrost, great Thresh performance late in the game, you have to look at the rest of TSM's performance in the late game. They have a good comp for closing the game out. Yes, P1's comp is very high damage. You get punished if you start an objective off and flub kind of your turn off or something like that. But it still took a really long time given how explosive their early game was, and it continues to be the same kind of issues that have plagued TSM. Come mid-late game, they often struggle to get what they need to done.
And I think that's kind of the big thing here is that all of TSM's victories so far this split have been 3-game series. So none of them are necessarily crushing victories that they should feel, that they can rather feel super confident about moving forward as like, yeah, we are again the most dominant team in North America. No, they're not there yet. They are picking up the victories and they are sporting a 5-1 record, which is sweet, but there's still so much they got to clean up around their game.
Yeah, they're 5-1 in matches, 10-7 in games, which would actually be kind of a meddling record as far as trying to be a top-tier team. So, yes, it's good that they have the consistency to not lose the series, but then the inconsistency of not closing out games very quickly and just flubbing a few of them. I mean, they got pretty quickly closed out in game 1.
Right.
Those are the things they're going to want to clean out because they have aspirations of being a world-class team.
And Mark, what about on the other side of the matchup here? Because we were talking about Phoenix One coming in hot off of 3-2-0 victories. So they were, if anything, the more dominant team coming into this matchup. Well, they exit with a defeat here and a 4-2 record. How should they be feeling as a team coming out of this matchup?
I think they should feel fine, honestly. Game 3 was a totally different draft than we see out of P1. They take the Jace early to bait the Poppy pick. They flex it to mid. They grab the Rumble for Zig, which he's pretty good on, and then they take the Ivern. And so all around, this draft is not what we were used to seeing. We're used to seeing, Zig on tank, Ryu on, some kind of control mage. It went totally out there, and then it started as bad as it could start. So it wasn't like, oh, they don't know how to play this team comp. It was like they got destroyed early off some Sven plays. So I look at this and say, the series could have gone either way. The way Game 3 started was a disaster when they tried something different. Not too upset about it.
Let me ask you this. This would be a yes or no answer here. Would you want to see P1 try this composition again? You mentioned it's a very different look for them. Would you want to see them play this again, maybe to more success if they don't get out to a level 1 first blood?
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at this comp. I understand what they were doing. It makes a lot of sense. It was tricky. They baited TSM into doing exactly what they wanted, and then it just goes horribly wrong. Like, you don't have time for the Rumble to destroy the Poppy the way you want to. It just got turned.
I guess
That was a lot of words for a yes or no question.
Yeah, well, I guess
I say no.
Okay, yeah. So,
you
because
say
here's what I'm hammering at, right? Phoenix One seemed to have established some kind of a winning formula, which is that Zig is going to be primarily on the tanks and be that role player top lane. Wait.
It's good to be varied for sure.
Yeah.
But based on where they've found their success, I would prefer them to have Ryu on a more proactive champion instead of a poke wave clear Jace and a Nori on a jungler who can be invade and kill people.
Yeah, all right, Mark.
Last point, if something like this works, it throws a lot of mind games at an enemy team.
Yep.
So I do like that part.
I would love them to do it again if they were good at it.
That's the thing. I think, hey, look, it's early in the split. If they can craft this composition again and show us that they can get a victory out of it, it does a lot for them later in the season when it comes to diverse strategies. That's going to close, or rather conclude this series here. TSM picking up the victory on the first series of the day at NA LCS 1. That's not all the league action that we have for you, though. After the break, we have Immortals versus FlyQuest. Don't go anywhere.
Do you realize who that coach is?
Oh!
It's the coach we lost to 2-0 at Worlds.
Oh.
And it's true. Are you gonna let him get away with that? Or are you gonna try and punish him this time?
Looking for a pick, he wants an Ori, he's gonna find it, leaps out of the way, and TSM letting the super minions do a bit more work, they're getting chunked down pretty low. But P1 just don't have anything left. TSM, Nexus wide open, Bifrost, look for the play, it's gonna cost him, it's Sven leaps!
I got Ivan. I jump out.
Nice.
End the game. I'm in GA.
End the game.
You cannot. I got a lantern. I'm hitting Nexus. I'm going Ash.